A recently widowed Jewish lady was sitting on a beach towel at Cocoa Beach, Florida. She looked up and noticed that a man her age had walked up, placed his blanket on the sand nearby, and begun reading a book, smiling. She attempted to strike up a conversation with him. "Hello, sir, how are you?" "Fine, thank you," he responded, and turned back to his book. "I love the beach." "Do you come here often?" she asked. "First time since my wife passed away last year," he replied, and again turned back to his book. "Do you live around here?" she asked. "Yes, I live over in Suntree," he answered, and then resumed reading, trying to find a topic of common interest. Sarah persisted. "Do you like pussycats?" With that, the man threw his book down, jumped off his blanket onto hers, tore off both their swimsuits, and gave her the most passionate ride of her life. As the cloud of sand began to settle, Sarah gasped and asked the man, "How did you know that was what I wanted?" The man replied, "How did you know my name was Katz?" Aunt's mobile rings at 2 o'clock in the night. Uncle woke up shocked, saw there was a message on mobile. Beautiful. Uncle picked up Aunt at the same time and asked angrily, "What is this? Who has sent you a beautiful message?" Aunt also wondered who would call her beautiful at the age of 50. When Aunt took the mobile in her hand, she shook and slapped Uncle's cheeks and said, "Pick up the mobile by wearing glasses. It is written battery full, not beautiful." Boudreaux decided it was time to get himself an unusual pet, so he visited a little pet shop in town. After looking around, he told the owner, "I want something nobody else has." The shopkeeper smiled and brought out a tiny box. Inside was a talking centipede. Boudreaux was amazed and happily took it home. The next morning, he placed the box on the table and said, "Hey, little buddy, would you like to come to church with me today?" No answer. A few minutes later, he tried again. "How about we go hear some good preaching and get ourselves blessed?" Still nothing. Boudreaux waited patiently, then leaned close to the box and shouted, "Hey, are you coming to church with me or not?" A tiny voice finally came from inside. "I heard you the first time." Boudreaux smiled. "So you're coming?" The centipede replied, "Of course. Give me a minute. I've got 99 more shoes to put on." One day, my mom was out and my father was in charge of me. I was about 2.5 years old and had just recovered from an accident. Someone has given me a tea set as a get-well gift, and it quickly became my favorite toy. Daddy was in the living room, completely engrossed in the evening news, when I brought him a little cup of tea, which was actually just water. After several cups and lots of praise for such delicious tea, my mom came home. My dad excitedly told her to wait in the living room so she could see me bring him a cup of tea, because it was just the cutest thing. My mom watched as I proudly walked down the hall with a cup for Daddy and saw him drink from it. Then she said, in that knowing mom voice, "Did it occur to you that the only place your daughter can reach to get water is the toilet?" 2 nuns are ordered to pay a room in the convent, and the last instruction of the Mother Superior is that they must not get even a drop of paint on their habits. After conferring about this for a while, the 2 nuns decide to lock the room, strip off their habits, and paint in the nude. In the middle of the project, there comes a knock at the door. "Who is it?" calls one of the nuns. "Blind man," replies a voice from the other side. The 2 nuns look at each other and shrug, deciding that no harm can come from letting a blind man into the room. They open the door. "Nice tits," says the man. "Where do you want these blinds?" A small boy parks his bike just outside Parliament and begins to head off. A police officer calls out, "Stop. You can't leave your bicycle there. This is where MPs, ministers, and sometimes even presidents and royalty pass by." The boy smiles and replies, "Don't worry, officer. I locked it." A guy with no arms and no legs is lying on a beach. Then this beautiful, voluptuous blonde comes walking by, sees a crippled guy, and starts pitying him. So she walks up to him and asks him, "Would you like a kiss?" The guy looks up and says a bit hesitantly, Yes." So the woman bends down, and the 2 of them make out for a long while. Then the woman asks again, "And would you like me to stroke your balls?" The guy immediately perks up and says, "Yes, please." So the blonde starts stroking his family jewels, and within minutes, he gets a hard-on. The woman smiles and asks, "And have you ever been f***ed?" Sensing some good times coming, the guy replies, "No." The blonde laughs and says, "Well, you will be. The high tide's coming." A policeman is driving past a roadside apple stand when he notices a sign. "Apple seeds, guaranteed to make you smarter, $20 per seed." He pulls over and informs the vendor that it is fraud and false advertising to make absurd claims like this. "No, no, no." The vendor tells the cop, "My apples are a special variety, a scientific miracle. Buy just one seed, eat it, and you will notice an increase in intelligence. If not, I promise to refund your $20. "All right," says the cop, "but if this doesn't work, I'm shutting your operation down." He hands over a $20 bill, takes the seed, chews it up, and waits for it to kick in. After a few moments, he says, "You know, even if you're not lying, I could have bought a whole bag of your apples and had enough seeds to last me months." "Ah, yes," says the vendor. "It's working already." A limbless woman is sitting on the beach crying as a man approaches her. "What's wrong?" He asks. "I've never been hugged before." She responds. The man hugs her, and she stops crying for a second. Then the man walks away, and the woman continues crying. A little while later, a second man approaches and asks the woman what the matter is. "I've never been kissed before." She tells him. The man kisses her, and she stops crying briefly before he too walks away. Eventually, a third man approaches her and, again, asks her what the matter is. "I've never been fucked before," she says. The man stops and thinks for a second before scooping her up and throwing her into the ocean waves. "There, now you're fucked." 3 contractors are bidding to fix a broken fence at the White House. One is from Chicago, another is from Tennessee, and the third is from Minnesota. All 3 go with a White House official to examine the fence. The Minnesota contractor takes out a tape measure and does some measuring, then works some figures with a pencil. Well, he says, "I figure the job will run about $900, for $100 for materials, for $100 for my crew, and $100 profit for me." The Tennessee contractor also does some measuring and figuring, then says, "I can do this job for $700, $300 for materials, $300 for my crew, and $100 profit for me." The Chicago contractor doesn't measure or figure, but leans over to the White House official and whispers, $2,700. The official, incredulous, says, "You didn't even measure like the other guys. How did you come up with such a high figure?" The Chicago contractor whispers back, $1,000 for me, $1,000 for you, and we hired a guy from Tennessee to fix the fence. "Done," replies the government official. And that, my friends, is how the new stimulus plan will work.